everybody, and welcome back to the Unity tutorial series. So in the last episode, we learned how to move this ball by using the WASD keys. So this is what we learned how to do in the last episode, but currently the camera does not follow the ball. So if the ball falls into the abyss, the camera will not follow it, and that is what we will be doing in this tutorial. One small thing before we begin, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps us out, and we are determined to help you become a master at Unity. So, what we need to do first is select the camera right here in the hierarchy and then drag it onto the player. Now, I wish it were this simple, but it's not, and you'll see why later. But basically, whenever we move the player or the ball, the camera will follow it. And currently you must be thinking, yay, this should work. But no, it doesn't work. And I'll show you why. So if you hit play, you can see that the camera follows the ball, but when you start moving it, whoa! It goes berserk. And we do not want that. So what's going on here? Well, we are currently dealing with a sphere, and a sphere obviously rolls as it moves. So if we were to not hit maximize on play, we would see where the camera is going when we roll the ball. So look at this top window here and the bottom window at the same time, and watch where the white icon of the camera goes. So as you can see, the camera is moving at the same rotation relative to the ball. So in this tutorial, we will be learning how to make it so that the camera does not rotate when the ball rotates. So first, what we have to do is make a script for our camera. So we were going to go into Project, Create, C# script, and let's call this No Rotation. And this name can be anything you want. That's just what I'm calling it. I'm going to click, drag, and drop onto my main camera. And as you can see, the camera now has a new script, and it's called No Rotation. So let's edit this script in MonoDevelop. Okay, so we are in MonoDevelop right now. So our goal for this script is to make it so that the camera is parented to the ball without rotation. So let's begin. So we are going to type public GameObject player, and this is a reference to our player, which is the ball. And we are going to type private vector3, which is an x, y, and z, and we are going to call this variable offset. Now why offset? Well, this is going to be the distance between the camera and the ball. So basically, this offset will never change, but we are going to determine the offset by gathering the transform of the player and the camera, and we will do a subtraction of those two. Basically, the difference will be our offset. We're going to determine that in start. So offset equals transform dot position, that is the position of the camera, minus player dot transform dot position. So this will always be a constant, and this, well, not really a constant, but we can change it if we move the camera, but it will always be a constant when we play our game. So now, in void update, we are going to transform our camera to the player with the offset. So as you can see, this is neglecting rotation, so the camera will not rotate when it follows the ball. So let's do that. Transform dot position equals player dot transform dot position. Alright, that's all we need, except for void update, and we have to change this to late update. Now, why are we changing this to late update? Well, late update is very good with camera movement. It's actually better than update. Now, I looked this up in the Unity documentation website, and it says that late update is called after all update functions have been called. This is useful to order script execution. For example, a follow camera should always be implemented in late update because it tracks objects that might have moved inside update. So basically what that's saying is late update happens after update, and it tracks what happens in update. So this will work for camera movement because after the ball rolls, the camera has to follow it. So that's what's happening. So let's save the script and see what happens. Okay, so we are back in Unity, and as you can see, the main camera is still parented to the player. We don't want that because we already did it manually. So we are going to select the main camera and drag it out of the player. Cool. So now what we want to do is drag our no rotation script onto our main camera. And as you can see in the inspector, no rotation is there. So now, simply, all we have to do is drag the player onto the camera. This should work. Let's test it out and see what happens. One mistake that I realized that I made, and this is a detrimental mistake, basically what we have in the script is the camera is always going to transform into the player when we start. So we want to do plus offset. And that was my mistake. So now the camera will transform to the player, but then go on that offset. So let's return to Unity. Alright, now that the mistake has been corrected, let's hit play and see what happens. Alright, so as you can see, the ball is moving, but the camera is not rotating with it, and that is what we want. Alright, so that is it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.